righty. Good morning, Vietnam. Welcome to the Morning Night with your host, Marty Johnson, a.k.a. Dawg Knight. I've got my reparations coffee, and I'm raring to go. Yes, today it's the gift that keeps on giving. Can't seem to get away from it. The good old Covington controversy, Covington chaos. The Covington just kill me. You know, the title of my stream today, I wrote, I called it Groundhog's Day or Joy Sparkles. And it's just you and me today. Hey, Camel, that's okay. It's okay, Camel. It's just you and me right now. Camel, let me ask you a question. Do you remember Joy Sparkles? Just curious. I'll wait because I know there's a lag in the time that you can type yes or no, but I'm thinking maybe you do know who Joy Sparkles is. Remember, she would just glom on to a topic and then she'd do like 8,000 videos. Like sometimes she would stream from like all day on just one story. And there was this one, especially when that Daddy of Five thing came out, and she really, that was her thing, and she was constantly talking about Daddy of Five, and I'm beginning to feel like that with this Covington Catholic school controversy. I'm obsessed. It's consuming me. I spend time on Twitter arguing with people about it, and I just holy smokes. Good morning, Owen Harmon. How you doing? You know, this nonsense is just getting crazier and crazier every day. And I don't want to spend the whole stream on it today. Although, you know, I kind of fly by the seat of my pants right now. I don't have a format necessarily. I did a start. I do Twitter trends, and then I do a couple headlines, and then I do some other stuff. But I can't get away from this. It's crazy. It's crazy. So you know what? I'm going to try. I'm really going to try just to stick to format for a minute. But man, I can't get away from it. You know, I'm actually going to go in real quick here. I'm not going to stay to format. I cannot talk about this. I'm going to get to some people that I've been replying to on Twitter and just some of the dumb shit they're saying about this controversy. I'm sorry, I got really quiet there. I got introspective. I hope you can hear me just fine. I have my mic set the way I had it yesterday. And yesterday I felt like I was shouting the whole time. So let's go in here. Now here, let me talk. Let me just say something that I've been really trying to just understand the dynamic of this, where people are just refusing to even figure out what actually happened. There are still people out there, and there's tons of them. My mother is one of them. I got to talk to her, but I don't want to, you know, your mother puts something on Facebook and you don't want to go, Mom, are you kidding me? What have you paid attention to this at all? Or are you just talking about it? So here's what's happening. And this is a good example, and I'll put this on the screen. I'm going to show you what this woman said. Somebody said, you know, when I watched it, I saw less arrogance and more nervousness. Here, I'll throw this on the screen too. This Robert guy here says, when I watched it, I saw less arrogance and more nervousness. The kid appeared to be scared and unsure of how to respond to what was unfolding. Apologized for standing there and trying to keep his composure because someone's saying he should be apologizing. He didn't offer an apology. He did not. Oh my God, he didn't offer an apology for someone banging a drum in his face. But anyway, apologize for what? Trying to keep his composure, apologize for wearing a red hat on his head. These things need no apology. And then the next guy says, yep, seemed more awkward than arrogant. And then this woman says, no, he didn't. That smirk was pure mockery, malicious glee, and self-righteousness. And I shall strike down with the power and vengeance of... I wish I knew that Bible verse that Samuel L. Jackson does in the hell's that movie called? Yeah, Pulp Fiction. I wish I could do that. Anyway, he was in smirk was pure mockery, malicious glee, and self-righteousness. He was enjoying it, feeling powerful. Holy shit. And if you look at videos from different angles, when he walked away, he just looked awkward as hell. But anyway, so someone here says, wow, the ability to read minds, blah, blah, blah. She's like, have you ever met a human? Ever had a human interaction of any kind? So here's where I come in. I'm going to go back to what I wrote about that because this is kind of how I feel about the whole thing. I said, you are seeing this through the lens of the false narrative originally presented to you and have made no effort to imagine another option. You are projecting your anger/hate for another human being onto this 15-year-old child. And that's what everyone's doing. It's almost shocking to me that after the retractions by some of the media, after the other stories have come out, after the other videos come out, there's still people who just are cling to the original story. They're clinging to this original story because right now, this kid is their substitute for Donald Trump, for their hate for Donald Trump. Now, again, I'm fairly ambivalent toward Donald Trump. Like I said yesterday, I did not vote for him. I did not vote for Hillary Clinton either. I think they were both terrible. She's a criminal and he's a jackass. But I don't disagree with all of the policies that he's trying to do. There are, some of this stuff has been going on for years and that never has gotten done. And he's actually trying to do it. I just don't like his style. So I guess I can, let's just put it away. I don't hate Trump and I don't necessarily, you probably never see me wearing a red hat. Let's put it that way. But every day I figure if it comes down to whether or not my vote gets somebody into office, I don't want the alternative right now because they're all nuts. They're crazy. Let's get back to what I was saying. Anyway, so yeah, they're all projecting. In fact, like I talked about my friend on Facebook yesterday, who is just this avid, livid, just Trump hating. Everything she writes about Trump is just, she hates him. She has pure hate in her heart. And it's funny because people are always talking about, the conservatives are so hateful and whatever. Right now, the people who have the most hate in their heart of anybody I've ever seen are the people who hate Trump. It's pure hatred. And some of it's irrational. Some of it, I kind of get it. I'm sorry, you stole the opportunity for the first woman president who rightfully deserved it and was about to be anointed. She got brushed aside, and you're blaming the Russians and everything else besides the fact that she was a terrible campaigner and probably let's put it this way, she lost to the second worst candidate in the history of the United States. You feel me? She lost to the second worst candidate in the history of the United States. He just played it smarter. Anyway, but they're all projecting their hate for him onto a 15-year-old child. And that picture, just the way it was presented, the way they put that narrative together, all these people are projecting their hate. So, yeah, that's a funny question. What kind of movies does she like to play with that kind of projection? Exactly. So let's see what else. Who else did I interact with here? This is the reason. This came from a guy named Frank Oz. That started this thread. The original poster. I'm very disappointed that Nick Sandmann has no intention of apologizing because he says he had every right to stand there. I hope. Oh, I'm coughing again. Needs it. Reparations coffee. Courtesy of Hope Step Jesus. I hope as he grows older that he will understand that it's not about having the right, it's about doing the right thing. What exactly was the right thing to do in that situation? You know, you don't want to disrespect elders and things like that, but guess what? It wasn't about that. It was about the elder who was disrespecting him. And he did the right thing by not reacting, by telling his friend not to interact, by walking away eventually. But you don't see that in the way it was presented in this original video. And if hopefully I can find this other clip that you know, clearly shows how he actually was reacting to this. I'll have to find it, but what else here? Yeah, there's a bunch of things in here. Like some people were saying that this there's this other kid from a Covington school that was this gay kid. They're now because so now they're digging up all the stuff about the Covington kids. They have photos of you know how high schools will have the blackout game and the whiteout game and the blue out game and the green out game where they all wear the same color to the game, and they had pictures from a blackout game and they're saying, oh, these are the Covington kids in blackface. Oh yeah, and then someone's sending pictures. A lot of people are retracting that. There is one interesting thing though. The attorney let's find this attorney guy real quick. We'll just Google it because I don't remember what I did with that. What's going on with my browser here? Oh, good Lord. I'm on Yahoo again. Anyway, whatever. Covington, attorney. Let's put libel. Oh, look at that. Lawyer goes after Andrew Mitchell for libel against Covington. Robert Barnes. That's his name. Robert Barnes. Let's see if I can find this. All right, this is from PJ Media. If you're familiar with PJ Media, here we go. Here's the article. Lawyer for Covington Catholic High School families threatens lawsuit against media unless they retract false stories. Now, you may have noticed that a lot of these stories are being, or at least a lot of people are walking back the stories. Some of them are, our lovely new congresswoman from Minnesota, Omar, I can't remember her first name, completely deleted everything she said about it. Thanks to the sloppy one-sided reporting of this malicious agenda-driven media, a group of Catholic high school teenagers and their family have become subject of threats and harassment from the hateful online outrage mob, who really should, you know, the I Hate Trump mob. Hi, Jeff Fisher. How you doing? Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to the chat. Being white, their only sins, being white, Catholic, and supporters of the president. Actually, close. I guarantee you the number one thing here was the red MAGA hats, because those enrage some people, and it's that's the thing. They made the mistake of wearing those hats. If those hats weren't involved, first of all, I don't think this Nick Sandmann would have got singled out, because that guy, Nathan Phillips, is an activist, and he is an experienced activist. And I think they knew exactly what kind of imagery that they were going for when he decided to go up and stand in that kid's face. Good morning, Johnny Hellcat. Nice to see you. The full story has emerged in the wake of the fake news blitzkrieg over the weekend, and media outlets that spread defamatory smears against the kids are now being warned to correct and retract their stories or face a lawsuit. Contrary to the media's malicious narrative, the kids were Not racist rednecks mobbing the Native American elder with hateful slurs. It was quite the opposite. Los Angeles-based trial lawyer Robert Barnes offered to represent the Covington families for free should they decide to sue the New York Times. Here's a tweet by Robert Barnes. He went straight at Maggie Haberman. Listen, here's Maggie Haberson tweeted, "There are dozens of students laughing and egging on the behavior. We'll be interested to see if anyone is actually expelled, as officials suggest as possible." Robert Barnes, I will represent the kids for free if they want to sue Maggie New York Times for obvious libel. He's gone after a lot of people. He's got a big list. Good morning, Cynical Lindsay. Nice to see you. Tarkata, nice to see you back. I'm shouting everybody out. By the way, I forgot my PSA today. My PSA is to, here, hang on. I got to do this so I don't go Inception on y'all here. Let's go back here. My PSA is to please join me in retweeting my tweet out today, and if I can find it. Sometimes, like I said, I'm still on new Twitter. I'm starting to get used to it. I'm starting to be able to find stuff, but it's still not the easiest. So let's go here. Morning Knight Live. Here's the tweet. Let's see. Copy and paste. Whoop. There you go, people. I just put that out in the chat. So if you would be so kind to retweet that, that would be great. We'll get more people here. Or just tell your friends and neighbors. Right underneath, if you don't have Twitter, let's do this. I'm going to do it a different way. Even though I can see myself talking, I'll go straight Inception here. Right under here, you see my cursor there. See that little thing that says share? I'm just pointing it out. Is my cursor showing up? Did I change that? I may have changed it yesterday. Anyway, click share, and you can share that however other way you'd like to do that. So anyway, I guess it wouldn't show up if I didn't do it. It only shows up if I go and show you this. There's a cursor? No cursor. All right, whatever. You don't need it. You don't need the cursor. You can find that share arrow, little arrow right underneath the screen there. Anyway, back into the. Oh, thank you, Tarkata. You've already retweeted it. You're the best. All right, back to where I was here. So anyway, the knuckleheads all over Twitter are just don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's just embarrassing that they don't know about this stuff. You know what? I'm going to do an aside here. This is hilarious. So I want you to see what the New York Times has been putting on Twitter. Maybe it's just me. I find it funny. New York Times. Independent journalism needs your support. Subscribe at this special rate. Then they have this little blinky ad here. And then under the bottom it says, help the facts come to light. Subscribe today. Now, I found this hilarious, okay? Independent journalism. No, New York Times, you are the epitome of corporate journalism. There is nothing independent about you. You tend to toe the corporate journalism line. You are the leader in the corporate journalism line, and you're the lead narrative writer for the corporate journalism line. And independent journalism is people like, well, not me, because I'm not a journalist. I just read shit on the internet. But there are people out there like Tim Pool, anyway, there's a bunch of them. I'm not going to name a bunch, but that's just the dumbest ad. And anyone who knows better. So I think I responded to that. What did I say here? Oh, and by the way, the ratio on this was, it looks like apparently Twitter has been changing it. When I actually saw this, it had maybe a couple hundred retweets and about 1,000 likes and about 3,000 comments. And I didn't even go through it, but I thought, my first thought when I saw this, I said, something the conservatives and the anti-war left can agree on, the ratio. Anyway, I thought that was clever, but maybe you just think it's not. Who knows? Um, let's see. Let's go back in here. Oh, and I also found it funny that Kirsten Powers, she's a journalist. She used to be one of the Fox News liberals, but I think she spends most of her time on CNN right now. And I found something hilarious that she wrote. Because she was talking about deleting her Twitter app. Now let's see. Let's see if she's actually done that yet. Nope. Her Twitter app is still live. In fact, did she tweet this morning? Nope. 21 hours ago, she tweeted. Here, I'll show you. 21 hours ago, she tweeted, "Every day I get up and say, no more Twitter, and somehow end up back here. I always regret it. Deleting the app now." This was 21 hours ago, and her app is still up. She still has something pinned here, but she hasn't tweeted since then, so that's interesting. But she was getting... So I tweeted the little thing from SpongeBob SquarePants, because it was 3 hours after she tweeted that, or that I saw it. And so I thought this was clever. 1 hour later, 2 hours later, 3 hours later. Cute, huh? Anyway, let's see. Anyone else new in here? I just got to make sure I'm not missing anybody. So anyways, yeah. Bye, Kirsten. Don't let the cursor hit you in the eyeball. So the reason she was a little bit miffed. Let me go find that real quick, because here's her stupidity of a post. "This Washington Post story captures the real lesson of this episode. Don't succumb to orchestrated harassment campaigns against journalists." And because it was the Washington Post story says the Covington Classic story went viral. The mainstream media chased it. The Trump internet pounced. No, the Trump internet didn't pounce. Basically, it's a story about how, well, here, let's look at it. I stopped reading it, but it's a pretty dumb article. The viral, is the Washington Post, oh gosh, is this one of those, try one month? No, I'm not going to spend $1 on this. I got snippets of this article somewhere else, and they're trying to say that, the story would have been fine if it weren't for those damn kids, except it was the damn Trump supporters. She's making the media the victim in this. The media. What the hell am I saying? The media is a victim of their own overzealousness to get clicks. Right now they want strife in America. I truly believe that they make money off of this stuff. They get people to view. They get ad revenue because people come in, this story like this, and you turned me into freaking Joy Sparkles because I'm talking about the same shit every day because of this stupid story. There's a coup in Venezuela, or their attempted coup. There's all kinds of things going on in the world, but I can't get away from this freaking story, and it's nuts. But partially because the people who are talking about it are nuts. What else let's go through here real quick. I had a couple. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. You don't have to watch me search for shit. But I know that Bear also sent me another article yesterday. So let's see what that was. Because, oh, yeah. A professor goes after Covington kid. The smiling... Oh, good God. And smiling face of whiteness. This is a campus reform article. Let's check this one out. This shit is just gone insane. Professor goes after Covington kid and smiling face of whiteness. A University of Pennsylvania professor sounded off on Twitter about the recent Covington controversy. Professor made her comments when many media outlets framed the Covington students as harassers. Okay, so this is an Ivy League professor. An Ivy League professor bashed the smiling face of Whiteness. That'd be a great name for a band, wouldn't it? The Smiling Face of Whiteness. That sounds like an 80s band when they try to come up with clever names. Wow. Anyway, in response to the recent controversy involving an interaction between a Native American man and a Catholic teenage supporter of President Donald Trump, Whiteness endlessly forgives its own transgressions. University of Pennsylvania Associate Professor Ebony Elizabeth Thomas wrote on Sunday about the confrontation between Covington Catholic High School student Nick Sandman and Native American Nathan Phillips, who I now call Private Lying Firepants. Private Lying Firepants. I'll talk about why I say that now. I'll talk about that later. Most of you probably already know, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Anyway, it rarely, if ever, gives those of us it harms and maims and kills time to process our, I'm assuming she meant emotions. I'm going to read that again. It rarely, if ever, gives those of us it harms and maims and kills time to process our emotions. Good God, lady. Oh, do I need to say it? Thomas teaches in University of Pennsylvania's Graduate School of Education. That's where your master's degree program in education is. I'm going to say the Graduate School of Indoctrination. You forgive us, right? You have to forgive us. Understanding will make it better. Reconciliation, diversity, inclusion, she continued, conveying what she suggests to be the attitude of most white people. Any white people in my chat? Let me know if that sounds right. I know, private talking bull. I like that too, Tarkana. Lieutenant Chief Lying Firepants. You know, actually, funny. That almost would make more sense because that means he's lying. Because this guy was in the Marines. He was in the Marines, as we all know, but he entered the Marines in 1972 after all the Marines had already left Vietnam. Also, he never rose above the rank of private. He never left the country. He was stationed here, and his MOR was a refrigeration unit specialist, meaning he fixed refrigeration units. And he went AWOL 3 times during his 4-year stay in the military. He did receive, I don't know if it was an honorary discharge or a neutral discharge. It must have been honorable, not honorary. But in 4 years, he never raised above the rank of private, which is, it's almost impossible to do. I mean, you at least would end up being a private first class after 4 years, and never it happened. Anyway, all right, let's go back on. So okay, you have to forgive us, right? Okay. According to Thomas, the smiling face of Whiteness is one that always hides a knife behind its back. That knife says this: you must forgive us, you must educate us, or else. Oh, Ebony, dear, shut the fuck up. Usually that or else happens anyway, the professor adds, but it will assuredly happen unless you kiss Whiteness's ring. Thomas goes on to claim that she knows all about Whiteness' outrageous demands. She reiterates that Whiteness endlessly forgives its own transgressions. Now, what sounds familiar about that? So this story comes out, and Lieutenant Chief Lying Firepants, a.k.a. Lieutenant Chief Private Talking Bull, got you both there, thank you, yarns this tale, knits and stitches, a tale of how he was just in fear of his life as these kids were surrounding him, and he tried to get past this one young man, and the kid goes one way, and he tried to get him past him again, and the kid moved the other way, would not let him continue his march. Crap! Anyway, that was probably really loud because I was way too close to the mic. And we find out from video evidence that that is not true, and the media all sees that. And yet, it seems, let me quote Miss Professor Ebony Elizabeth, whatever her last name is here. Let me quote her. It seems as though, but I'm going to use her words, that the supporters of Chief Lying Firepants endlessly forgives his transgressions. They do. They because by God, that kid was smirking. It's insanity. Time's up for instant forgiveness, for demanding free labor of the walking wounded, and for demanding that those you've offended make it right so you can feel better before they have time to mourn, grieve, and breathe, Thomas claims. This is insanity. You know what? First of all, what are mourning, grieving, and breathing, and what's the what's the wounds from this? Apparently the wounds are death threats to some children who just a few months back or a year back, children were untouchable when they were on the side that you like. But when they're on the side you don't like, you can threaten them. You can have people shut down their schools with a protest. You can call for their doxing. You can call for their death. You can call for people to have a school shooting in their school. You know what? I don't like this double standard. The focus shouldn't be on how these people can learn from BIPOC. No. We have a new term, people. BIPOC. Black and indigenous people of color. Black and indigenous people of color. That's redundant, isn't it? I mean, aren't you? Jesus. In any second, I'm going to read something about trans and queer people of color. Trans and queer BIPOC. Trans, queer, black and indigenous people of color. DQ. I can't. I'm done with acronyms. Holy shit. Hi, Tyler F. How you doing? Hi, Smarty Bear. Welcome. Just a reminder. There's the link to the tweet that says we're here, or you can just hit the share button below and click a like if you feel like it. Click a like. You know, actually, you know what? It's interesting. I know I keep going off on tangents today, but every day you guys have been really cool about just, you come in, I see you in the chat, and I'm glad I can say hi, but I've never had to ask anyone to hit likes, and you guys hit the like button quite a bit. So I really appreciate that, because, you know, I don't, I'm pretty new at this, and I kind of just have fun with some of the stuff, and even though I get exasperated and I think I'm going to blow a gasket sometime, I'm really enjoying doing it, and I'm having fun, and hopefully we'll be able to grow this audience, and you can have more fun in the chat and have more people to talk to. But that's you can help me with that. The more you tell people about the stream, then the more people it'll be to interact with, and it'll make it more fun for all of us. But do I really want to read the rest of this crap? Thomas then explains her reasoning for not sharing the highly circulated video of the confrontation between the Native and Covington schoolboy, noting that out of respect and solidarity, she does not wish to reinforce just such visual trauma. Holy shit. By the way, not retweeting this video. It's circulated enough. Yes, it's important that we know what happened. But out of respect and solidarity for my Native, First Nations, and Indigenous friends, family, and colleagues, there's no way I'm going to retweet that visual trauma again. That's because you know it's bullshit when you actually retweet the actual video. You know that the whole thing has been a lie. The whole thing was a narrative that was, you know, for the people who hate Trump, and that's it. God bless America. The tweets came on the same weekend that much of the mainstream media jumped to negative conclusions of the Covington students after seeing a 2-minute video clip yeah. So I didn't. And here's the thing: when I heard about this, I never saw the original article. I never saw the original video clip, and I understand that it was 2 minutes long. Now, the entire footage. The first thing I did, I saw the controversy. I kind of saw the tweets about it. And then someone had put up a link of that original video by the Black Hebrew Israelites. I call them Black Westboro because they operate a lot like Black Westboro or like Westboro Baptist Church. They're nuts. But that's the first video I watched because I'm like, okay, oh cool, here's the full extended video. And it was like 1 hour and 45 minutes long, but I had the time. Although I did skip through some of it because I was trying to figure out what they were talking about. I was trying to reach when the Covington. I thought the Covington kids would be like right there in the beginning, and this whole thing was this confrontation. And it's 1 hour and 45 minutes long. The confrontation between the kids and when from the guys coming over to drum to the kids maybe was I'm going to say 12 to 15 minutes of the video. I mean, it probably wasn't even that long now that I think of it. I'm going to go back and go through it. But that's the first time I saw any video of this controversy. All I saw were tweets before that. And I went through that video. I'm like, wait, what's the controversy here? Who's supposedly staring somebody down? I didn't see it from that video. I saw the Black Israelites, aka Black Westboro, hashtag Black Westboro. Say it. Hashtag Black Westboro. They were berating the Native Americans who were having a prayer circle, and they're just, you know, they're berating everybody who walks by them, and then they're, you know, every time some of these kids show up, they start chirping at them. And so finally, after 1 hour and 10 minutes of this, then that's when the Nathan Phillips and his people start, you know, heading towards the middle of their crowd, push their way into the middle of the crowd and start staring down this kid. And I'm like, what? You've got to be, you mean they're mad at the kid? Why are they mad at the kid? The kid just stood there. In fact, like I said, you've all seen it. If you've seen the longest version of this, you know, Nathan Phillips, there's kind of 3 kids in a row. There's one kid here, there's one kid here, and one kid here. They're drumming up to this kid, kind of going, and he kind of comes up to this kid, and this kid kind of turns away, and because they don't kind of part of the Red Sea, so he's in the middle of this crowd of kids, big circle of kids. One kid kind of looks away, and you can see Sandman standing up here, just looking at him, and kind of, you know, trying to see what's going on. And he's the only one wearing the red. He's the only one in that 3 that's wearing the MAGA hat. He comes up to this one. This guy kind of just doesn't look at him, and he goes up to the next one, and guy gets in his face for a second, and then he goes up to Sandman, who's looking at him, kind of smiling with a dopey look on his face, and he's the one that he decides to put the drum right in his face. He gets closer, his own face to him a few times, and he's going back and forth. And this whole, and they're showing 2 minutes of video of all this time. I'm like, what? Anyway, I literally am going to Joy Sparkles on this, aren't I? Oh, good God. What's wrong with me? Additional video shows Phillips approaching the boys, not the other way around, just before the moment went viral. But just before the moment that went viral, yeah. So clearly the reporters were crap. A number of reporters later apologized for jumping to conclusions At the time of publication, Thomas had not yet done the same. So anyway, that's the Thomas is Ebony Elizabeth Thomas, this teacher from the University of Pennsylvania. So she can go to hell. She can go to hell because she's stupid. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. So let's see what else. Okay. Oh, here's another great one that just drove me crazy. So this is just a little thread because Simone Sanders, everybody's favorite CNN analyst on race issues, tweets out, when you're trying to remember the lines the PR team gave you. Okay, but, you know, so everyone's criticizing this family and the school for hiring, there's a pro bono PR firm that's helping them out. And so it's really unusual when you become embroiled in a national controversy to maybe have a PR specialist help you out, because, you know, that's just unheard of. Just like, you know, hey, someone said this the other day, oh yeah, you know what, someone is filing a lawsuit against you. Oh, it's crazy that you went and got a lawyer. But anyway, so she's criticizing the family for having a PR firm. If you watch, we did the Today interview yesterday. And you know, people are also mad because they were there for the Right to Life march. So once we can forget that this kid was in D.C. to protest my right to control my own body. But this lady says correctly, which she has a right to do. Still waiting for someone to tell me what the boy specifically did wrong. Judy Hartman, take a look at intimidation versus respect. The Native American was trying to defuse a situation. Those are his words, but they do not translate to the actions that he took. There's a difference between what he said and what you can see with video evidence. The teenager with his MAGA hat was intimidating by facing him with a smirk. And not a smile. That's because the picture was a snapshot of several minutes of information that you're not looking at. The smirk is the photograph. Have you ever seen someone, a freeze frame of a moment in time where people look, like look at any freeze frame of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. If it's an outlet that likes her, she looks like a beautiful Hispanic Barbie doll. If it's an outlet that doesn't like her, she looks like a donkey. It's a snapshot. The kid didn't smirk. If you watch the video, doesn't have that smirk on his face the whole time. Sometimes he's smiling, sometimes he's attentive, sometimes his face is blank, sometimes he's telling his friend to shut up and stop arguing with the other guys, and he's just smiling and listening to the music. It's a photograph of a very minute piece of time. Look at all the students in the background laughing. Where are the chaperones? Well, if you watch the entire video, the kids are laughing because they're out there smiling and having fun. Interesting, because Mr. Phillips, private, I can't even remember the names I'm calling him anymore. Lieutenant Lying Crazy Pants. Lieutenant Chief Lying Crazy Pants. Private Talking Bull. Whatever you want to call him. His words were that as he was doing it, he could feel the rage around him, and he was fearing that he was in danger of his life. And then you look at the background of the video, and it's just a bunch of kids laughing and having a good time, and in fact, most of the kids are even staying back from the place where Nick, what is his face, the kid is. Holy shit. And then this one, this is funny. Totally, every time I want to diffuse a situation, I get my drum and drum right in someone's face. Works exactly 0% of the time. And now this is the one that pisses me off. This lady says, watch the video. The kid walked to him through the crowd. That is a lie. And so in my brilliance, in my tweeting brilliance, I said, holy, you have no idea what really happened, do you? You're going to be so embarrassed when you if you watch the full video. I know you did I'll know you did when you delete this tweet. Glad I got a screenshot. There are people who are still saying the kid walked up to him. There are still people saying he was trying to block their way. The truth is, nobody was blocking his way. He walked up to a kid. If he would have wanted to go somewhere forward or left or right, there was no one there to stop him. His own people, or if he said he wanted to retreat, or he wasn't able to retreat if he wanted to. If he wanted to retreat, his own people were behind him. So retreating, no problem. If he would have wanted to go up the stairs, if he'd have just walked, if he looked to his right, he would have seen that there was a gap the kids had left to the right where he could have gone right up the stairs with his people. He's just a lying piece of crap. Lying piece of crap. I'll be here all week. So, now the only thing I wanted to check while I was on stream today is if they said they were going to do another interview with this, with Chief Lying Crazy Pants, Crazy Lying Pants, Lying Fire Pants. Oh, that Chief Lying Fire Pants. That was my name for him. Or again, Private Talking Bull. So let's just check the Twitter, the old YouTubes and see if that happens to be up. If not, we're going to go through no, you know what? I'm going to get off this for today. I'm going to see if there's anything else I can talk about. But let's try this. Nope. See you then. Today is Nick Sandman. Okay. It doesn't look like they've put the NBC News interview on yet with Nathan Phillips. So, yeah, we're not sure who started the confrontation first. Have you watched the video and blocked out? Oh, wait, all the men. Oh, the black. What's that? Wait, I'm reading Cynical Lindsay's comment in here. Hi, Diesel Dave. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Were you here earlier, or did you just get here? You must have just got here. Oh no, you were here earlier, but anyway, you're not sure who started the confrontation first. Have you watched the video? And blacked out ALA men in black when Nathan Phillips approached them. Yeah, no, it's just I'm getting tired of the story, but I guarantee you there's going to be more because it just never stops. These people can't stop maligning these kids, and there's going to be people. There's something bad is going to happen, but also some people are going to lose a lot of money. I think outlets like the USA Today, who's still doubling down on some of the stuff. Some of these articles that come out, the one I mentioned that Kirsten Powers mentioned, still doubling down on some of the events. Oh, and here's another problem. And right now I haven't seen it yet, but one of the things in libel law is it has to be a falsehood. It can't be something that's an opinion. Now, a lot of this stuff is, for example, who approached whom. That is clearly can be refuted with video evidence, but saying someone has a racist hat, for example, that's an opinion. So there's a difference between a falsehood and opinion. But there is one falsehood that many of these outlets have yet to retract, even though there's plenty of evidence for this. And that is they've been calling him a Vietnam veteran. That is a provable falsehood, because even he did not say that. And I'm wondering, well, I don't know what he could do about it, but because that term is in a lot of these articles, it just has to be a material falsehood. And so that's kind of a technicality, but that saying that this kid was harassing a Vietnam veteran, harassing could possibly be an interpretation, but the Vietnam veteran part cannot. So it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of outlets that are going to be parting ways with many of the precious dollars they bring in. And maybe some of these places won't be able to afford to part with dollars they bring in. And it may cause them a lot of stress, as much stress as they're excuse me, as much stress as they're causing these kids. Oh, there was one more here. Yeah. So this was another one of these things where this Frank Oz guy, when he was talking about, he was disappointed that Nick Sandmann had no intention of apologizing because he says he had every right to stand there, blah, blah, blah. And another person down here, oh, there's that alarm that I should always figure out to turn off. So someone was saying that they weren't chanting "Build a Wall," it's chanting school cheers, so they couldn't hear the Israelites' vulgarity. The Indians started walking towards them. If he was only trying to defuse the situation, please explain why he didn't just drum in the Israelites' face, and saying grown-ups versus teens. And so then this John Howard says, well, why didn't the kid move back if he felt so uncomfortable? Clearly he had space behind him to take a step or two backwards. And then this other moron says, or better yet, step aside so the procession could move forward. That's common sense. He had plenty of space to do that. Well, and I wrote, the procession was making no attempt to move forward. They could have easily gone past him. You clearly haven't watched the unedited videos. So they're just dumb people. It's just dumb people. I don't get it. Oh, good morning, old grouchy gamer. Did you see that his tribe disavowed him? Said he was not a tribal elder. You know, here's an interesting story about that. He's not a tribal elder. His background, he was adopted by a white family and grew up in this white family. And then when he turned 17, he went into the military. But he kind of resented losing his native past. But he wasn't he didn't grow up in that reservation. He grew up in I don't know what city he grew up in, but I heard that story that he's not. So that's interesting. He's not a tribal elder. Hey, Maniac Man, good morning. Oof, a little bit late. Oh, yeah, he didn't take a step back because he didn't know what to do. Yeah, he's a kid. You know, all these people Monday morning quarterbacking a 15-year-old kid. You know, 15 or 6, maybe 16 at most. You know, I mean, you see him in that interview, and gosh, he looks like 13 to me, but I know he's older than 50 because he's a junior in high school. But, you know, it's just crazy. It's crazy, people. All right. You know what? I know something stupid about that's going to come up again tomorrow, so let's just go on to my just normal. What I normally do daily is check the Twitter trends and see what's happening, what's going to come out today, what you're going to see videos about, and so we're going to check those. Let's see here. Let's see. For some reason, Weezer, the band, is trending. Number 1 trending in the USA is Weezer? What the hell is going on with Weezer? Is Weezer still even making music? Okay. A covers out. Oh, now you know what? No, now I see what. This actually looks pretty cool. A covers album by Weezer has Electric Light Orchestra, Black Sabbath, and Aha. And TLC's No Scrubs. Oh wow! So, I'm a music buff, and Weezer's kind of I just think they're a funny band. Here's Weezer's notes for Weezer's Teal album are incredible. For No Scrubs, I just thought it's one of those songs that's freakishly popular, said Cuomo. I was trying to decide which gender perspective to sing it from. Then I saw this tweet that said, if you're a guy covering a song by a girl, you got to keep the pronouns. For those 3 minutes, you're gay. So I was like, cool, let's try this. All right. Well, there you go. That's SJW take on Weezer covering songs. But Weezer's they're a talented band, and they probably will have a very interesting take on some of these other bands. But gosh, Black Sabbath, Aha, ELO, Aha, I'm sure it's Take On Me. That's the only song that anyone knows by Aha. And Electric Light Orchestra. So that should be interesting. All covers by Weezer. That should be cool. What else do we got trending today? National Compliment Day. I'm almost afraid to click it. But I'm clicking it anyway. Let's go. National Compliment Day. Hey, you. Yes. You. You're awesome. Tell me I'm hot. It's National Compliment Day. Oh, yes. Let's see here. What else? It's a sad fact that after receiving a genuine compliment can make some people feel really uncomfortable. So here's a few useful tips on taking a compliment well. Hey, you know what that face looks like? That kind of looks like Nick when he's watching Chief Flying Fire Pants drum in his face. Except, well, it's not really a smirk though. Okay, never mind. That was just wrong. That's wrong. National Compliment. You're bog standard and not as important as you. You're bog standard and not as important as you think you are. That sounds like a compliment. Hey, in the chat, compliment somebody else in the chat right now while I'm just scrolling through this. Oh, gee, Anti-Bullying Pro from the charity, the Diana Award. Today is National Compliment Day. Share your compliments around those close to you. You are my sunshine. I'm feeling all warm and happy right now. Oh, thank you, Maniac Man. I'm feeling good. You're awesome. All right. That's enough of that crap. National Compliment Day is stupid. I'm not giving compliments to National Compliment Day. What else we got here? Wilbur Ross. Who the hell's... Oh, that's the Commerce Secretary. Oh, God. Why is the Commerce Secretary trending? Oh, well, this is Paul Krugman. I don't give a fuck about Paul Krugman. Apparently... Okay, he said something controversial, but I don't know what. Oh... All right, let's just watch this little clip here. I'm going to figure... He said something that nobody likes. And let's find out what it is. Wilbur Ross is a billionaire. And this billionaire, Wilbur Ross, saying he doesn't understand why federal workers not getting paid during the Trump shutdown don't just take out loans to feed their families. Unreal. Yeah, that's kind of a stupid thing to say. Let's hear the actual quote.
There are reports that there are some federal workers who are going to homeless shelters to get food.
Well, I know they are, and I don't really quite understand why, because as I mentioned before, the obligations that they would undertake, say a borrowing from a bank or a credit union, are in effect federally guaranteed. So the 30 days of pay that some people will be out, there's no real reason why they shouldn't be able to get a loan against it. And we've seen a number of ads from financial institutions doing that.
So people are going to set their hair on fire over this, and I get it. And of course Nancy Pelosi
doesn't understand. Instead, what do they have?
So here we have Skeletor is going to tell us why this is the most hateful thing this man could have ever said in the entire world.
Instead, what do they have? They have Wilbur Ross saying he doesn't understand why. When he was asked about people going into food lines and pantries and the rest, he says,
You know what? I honestly feel bad for people who are okay. Reparations coffee. I honestly feel bad for the people who are affected by the government shutdown, especially federal workers. But so far, she's talking about them going to bread lines and food lines. So far, they've missed one check. Now, it sucks that they might miss a second check. And in fact, there was a bill in the House yesterday that I can't remember. I think it was. I can't remember. Oh, what's the guy with the eye patch? Dan, whatever his name is. He's a congressman. He tweeted out that there was a bill in the House yesterday that would have allowed the government to pay federal workers the first check, the next check during the shutdown. And the Democrats voted against it. So now let's listen to Nancy Pelosi. Let's listen to the rest of what everyone's favorite Speaker of the House, Dan Crenshaw. Thank you. Everyone's favorite Speaker of the House of all times has to say.
He doesn't understand.
Wait, I'm going to go back
why.
here. Wait.
Doesn't understand why. When he was asked about people going into food lines and pantries and
people going to food lines and pantries.
He says he doesn't understand why they have to do that. I don't know, is this the let them eat cake kind of attitude, or call your father for money, or this is character building for you, it's all going to end up very well, just so long as you don't get your paychecks. I don't quite understand why, as hundreds of thousands of men and women are about to miss a second paycheck tomorrow.
No, notice. Never mind. Yeah, they are going to miss. So they are going to miss. The second paycheck is tomorrow. And, I don't know. Federal workers, especially the ones that are affected, they're pretty secure jobs. They have great benefits compared to anyone else. And when they strike against the federal government, there's no competition businesses that compete with the federal government. And like I said, I guess that's irrelevant. I'm kind of talking just off the top of my head. Yes, it sucks that these people are out of a second paycheck, and they could fix that with one vote. And I know that, as far as Trump's concerned, he's not going to sign a bill that doesn't have funding for the wall, which has already, the bill that we're talking about has already passed the House with a $5.7 billion in it for the wall, or for the, whatever they're doing, whatever infrastructure they're doing along the border to prevent people from crossing the border, whether it's a wall, fencing, reinforcements, or whatever. And it's held up in the Senate because there's not enough senators to override a filibuster, so they need to either pull, I think, like 4 or 5 Democratic senators to that side to be able to get that through, or they're going to have to start over, and Nancy Pelosi refuses to bring another bill to the House. So someone's got to get together. They can't just, they can't just screw around with this forever. But, I've maybe when you're not prepared for it, you missing one paycheck's not gonna. I don't think missing one paycheck would put me on a breadline. It'd be about a year of paychecks, but that's just me. My wife and I have prepared for a lot of things. And the other thing, and he wasn't incorrect. One thing about being a federal employee, even when they shut down this government, they're still going to get paid. Even most of them. Now, the federal contractors are not going to be. If you're working for a contractor that does business with the federal government, that's screwing up a lot of people that way too. But I don't know. Enough of that. Okay, what else is trending? Enough of that. Let's look here. I'm going to go back to Twitter home. And we've got Vampire Weekend. Oh, that's a band. I don't care about that. I get really tired of having things that trending on Twitter or trending on YouTube, which are just corporate bullshit. It's especially bad on YouTube. YouTube, to me, when I started watching YouTube, I watched YouTube because there were people who weren't the corporate people doing stuff like what I'm doing right now. People who are not the mainstream media or the big networks. People just who are like me, doing cool stuff that I think looks fun to do, and doing it well enough that I wanted to watch them. not a bunch of people, you know, half the stuff's ABC or stuff that's some band or One Direction or, you know, something for ABC News or the Late Show bullshit. That shouldn't be trending on Twitter. That's not people. Who gives a shit? It's all paid shit and whatever Twitter wants to put up there. Okay, so what else here? Oh my God, it's National Peanut Butter Day. Woo! I don't care. Thursday motivation. Every day it's something motivation. But I want to find out. Here's the real one. I want to find out. What, ladies and gentlemen, why is Ted Bundy trending? Ted Bundy. Let's take a look. Ted Bundy. Oh, notorious serial killer Ted Bundy, who acted helpless and then killed women, was executed 30 years ago today. Okay, now, this is interesting because I'm waiting. I'm gonna scroll down this without looking, and we're gonna go through some of the tweets, and I'm looking for the first tweet. Okay, give me an over and under. I got a question for you. I want an over and under, or you could predict how many tweets it's going to take before you see the words toxic masculinity. Okay, chat. Everyone who's here, even if you haven't chatted yet, put a number. How many tweets do I have to scroll down before I see the words toxic masculinity? Put up a number. I'm going to wait. Actually, I'll just ramble on here until I start seeing numbers on the screen. How many tweets do I have to scroll down before I see the words toxic masculinity? Okay, we've got 5, 10. Come on, everybody. Play the game. Play the game. Plus, that helps you see who's here. Oh, Jason, did I see you already? Hi, Jason Burns. I don't think you must have just got here. Oh no, you were here way a while ago. Never mind. But hi anyway. I'll say hi. Okay. So I got 5, 10, 7, 3, 3, 2. Well, how many tweets from this first tweet? I'm not counting this first tweet. So I'm counting this Kiara down here. I'm counting her as the first one. All right, here we go. Get your number in. If you want to get your number in, you got a couple seconds. Oh, I see. Some of you working. Yeah, that's cool. Hey, that's cool. I really appreciate you listening to me at work. Even, I'm glad I'm interesting enough to keep you interested at work. So, all right, here we go. So, the first article: me rushing to watch the Ted Bundy documentary, knowing damn well I'm going to be disturbed. That's actually kind of a funny tweet there. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, the Ted Bundy documentary is finally on Netflix. Okay, and I'm not going to count the Pronamel one because, okay, so if you had 2, you're out. Oh, Smarty Bear, 13. Got it in just in time. So I got a couple 5s, couple 2s. If you did 2, you're done. Pronamel, I'm not counting that as one. So let's go to the third tweet. 30 years ago, Ted Bundy was executed by electric chair. Okay. Nope. Can't count that one. I saw Ted Bundy trending and almost had a heart attack. Turns out he didn't come back to life as a zombie. That's kind of funny, actually. Okay. Number 5. Netflix are churning out the original series, and they are all so good. First, You, then Sex Education, and now Ted Bundy serial killer files. Okay, whatever. It's a yes for me. Not counting the Netflix one either. L News. I'll count those. They don't count. God, I thought for sure I'd see toxic masculinity somewhere. Orlando Sentinel. Ted Bundy was executed 30 years ago today. Serial killer's fate was sealed in Orlando. Don't watch it alone. Eno's inside the horrific legacy of serial killer Ted Bundy. You know, maybe I should have limited this to people who's tweeting about it without being a corporate media outlet. Ted Bundy, he's your idol? What? Oh, good Lord. Theodore Robert Bundy was an American serial killer, kidnapper, rapist, burglar, and necrophile who assaulted and murdered numerous young women and girls during the 1970s and possibly earlier. He was a freak of a dude. That is just gross, dude. Let's see. Oh, how cute. Ted Bundy was an influential member of the Republican Party. You made that shit up, baby. You lying, whatever. Who cares? God, these people are so stupid. Yeah, whatever. That's stupid. I'm not seeing. Gosh, I thought for sure I'd see toxic masculinity somewhere in here. Why do documentaries keep saying Ted Bundy was handsome? That man was ugly. He was. People thought of him as. Some people saw him handsome. I don't know. Yeah, I should. Yeah, I know. I exclude news articles. I should have done that. But we're not. I'm not getting one. God, I'm just waiting. Every time I see tweets about Ted Bundy, I'm reminded of this chilling true story I read on Reddit a few years ago. The other point of view of the closest time Ted Bundy has ever come to being caught. Is this something I can read here? Here, let's read this story. Want to hear story time, chat? Here we go. Let's read this story. It was near Halloween time when my friends and I were telling ghost stories. My friend said she was going to tell a story about her parents' first date. She said she didn't like telling the story since it was actually true, but we prodded her on. To cut to the chase, the parents had spent a nice, if awkward, first date, and around the time that they would have said good night, the male in the situation, my friend's dad, suggested that they go for a midnight hike up Provo Canyon. He apparently knew the place, since he had done a fair amount of rock climbing in the area. So the two drove up the mouth of the canyon, got out of their cars, and started hiking under just the light of the stars, since it was a new moon. At some point, the male starts getting a bad feeling, since the pathway ahead, which would pass under some trees, would be dark, and because it was getting to be quite late. He ignores the feeling and presses on. Later, in later rehearsings of the story, the female would say that she had felt the same feeling at what was probably the same time, though she didn't know the trail like he did. A minute later, the feeling came back to the male. He ignored it again and started walking a bit of the way into the trees when his foot hit something soft in the middle of the path. Under the trees, it was too dark to see just what this soft thing was, and the feeling came back stronger than ever. Instead of finding out what his foot had bumped into, he and the female both agreed to hightail it out of there. Years later, after being married for some time, they were watching an interview with the serial killer, Ted Bundy. In response to a question asking him to describe the time that he felt closest to being caught, he explained about the night he had lured a girl into Provo Canyon and had just killed her when he heard some people coming up the trail. He explained how he hid in the trees just in time, only to watch some guy walk right into the body, and for some reason just turn around and walk away. Wow, that's kind of freaky. So somebody had their close encounter with a serial killer. Hi, Alan. How you doing, man? Okay. All right. So enough of Ted Bundy trending. Let's see what else. We might do a couple more, and then I got to get out of here. So let's see. What else? Anything else trending that I should care about? Not really. Let's see. Ted Bundy, 30 million. Connor Overs. Don't know who that is. All right, that's enough of the trending stuff. I was going to do some news articles today. I'm still heavily consumed with this Covington Catholic thing, and the whole thing just disgusts me. I'm in the process of I'm going to start a video this week, and hopefully I'll get it done and be able to edit it and have it done. But I want to, like I said, I talked about this the other day, and I'm finding this every day so far this week, I've found people who still talk about this story as if the original story is true and correct, and the original interviews with I'm blanking on his name because I keep trying to go Lieutenant Lying Fire Pants, Lieutenant Chief Lying Fire Pants, Private Talking Bull, but now I've forgotten his real name because I'm so sick of him. Some Phillips and Nathan Phillips. There's still talk about this story as though were the original story, were the gospel truth, and just the most easily debunkable things they say that you look at the video evidence. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at take the video and take some of these things he said, some of the things the kids said, and the different accounts, and I'm going to match them against the video to show you the video evidence of those items. Because unfortunately, I have friends on Facebook that who are also doing that same thing. They're talking about it as though the original story was gospel, and I'm finally just sick of it. And so I'm going to make a video, and I'm not only just going to put it on YouTube, but I'm also going to put it on Facebook separately, to explain why I've been arguing with them and to show them video evidence and say, you know what, if you don't like this, I'm sorry, you may, but this is why I have a different opinion about this than you, because I'm showing you the actual evidence that I have found. So that's how that's going to be. And so let's see, today's the 24th. Let's see if I'll just check a couple headlines here from my favorite blog, the Ace of Spades. Oh, hey, this is weird. This is weird. And it's more political news, and if you're interested in political news, every once in a while, I try to stay away from purely political news because I don't want to, this doesn't necessarily have to be a really super partisan thing in this stream, but this one's interesting because if you're familiar with Sheila Jackson Lee, she is a Democrat congresswoman from Texas. And so Jackson Lee resigns from key post after handling of rape case is scrutinized. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, Texas, resigned as the head of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation after facing criticism for her handling of a workplace sexual harassment claim. Jackson Lee was sued last week by a former CBCF intern who claims the Texas congresswoman retaliated against her after the congresswoman, after she reported she was raped by former CBCF intern coordinator Damian Jones. The lawsuit alleges Jackson Lee fired the woman years later after she began legal proceedings against Jones. Now, just a short aside here, Jackson Lee was one of those people who it wasn't now she's not a senator, so she wasn't in the Kavanaugh hearings, but she was very vocal about the Kavanaugh hearings and how we should be believing what's her name, but all of a sudden she's retaliating against someone who has a rape case against someone or in her foundation. Jackson Lee has been asked by the CBCF board of directors to step down, but refused to do so. Politico reported last week. At least one board member responded in protest, and Politico reported that sources with knowledge of the situation say more are expected to follow if Jackson Lee remains. Jackson Lee relented Wednesday. The 13-term congresswoman also resigned her chairmanship of the House Judiciary Committee influential subcommittee on crime, terrorism, and homeland security. But the New York Times reports that she will only step aside temporarily. The congresswoman is confident that once all the facts come to light, her office will be exonerated of any retaliatory or otherwise improper conduct, and this matter will be put to rest. Her office said in a statement, "While we still deny the allegations, we are especially concerned about Ms. Doe and only want the best for her and the many, many young people that this congressional office has supported, encouraged, and provided opportunities for over 20 years. Fascinating. She's been around a long time, and she's just one of those people who she's very, I mean, I'm sure she represents her district well. I don't like her personally, but she's been around a long time and very knowledgeable of procedures, and uses procedures to sometimes get her way around. Let's see here. Let's go for one more, and then I got to get out of here. Now that I lost my bookmark here, let's go back to where I was. The morning report. Here we go. So let's see. Let's just go through them. Sources say Trump not backing down ahead of Senate vote. Clyburn floats giving $5.7 billion to president, but not for wall. Well, what do you give him $5.7 billion for? Let's find out. This is from the Daily Caller. The majority whip of the House of Representatives raised the possibility of giving in to President Donald Trump's demand for $5.7 billion in border security, but with the caveat that it not go toward the construction of a wall. We see ourselves fulfilling that request with a smart wall, Democratic South Carolina Rep. Jim Clyburn said to reporters Wednesday, according to Reuters. Clyburn suggested that a compromise bill that could include funding for more Border Patrol agents, X-rays, sensors, and drones. However, the House Majority Whip said that such legislation would bar funding for a border wall. Is there... I am just dumbfounded by this. I understand that for them it's optics, but I keep hearing the words ineffective wall, but wouldn't X-ray sensors and drones also be ineffective? I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm trying to figure out what it is about this. You know, it's there's only one reason that Democrats are against this, and that's because who's proposing it this time? Because they've proposed it themselves in the past. Chuck Schumer talked about it. Even Hillary Clinton talked about it, having walls and barriers and you know, the border fencing and things like that. It just doesn't make sense. The proposal, if passed in the House, would likely die in the Republican-controlled Senate and would certainly not be signed if it reached Trump's desk. The president stood firm in his demand for a border wall between the U.S. and Mexico. However, the $5.7 billion he's requesting goes toward much more than just wall construction. Trump's border security package also includes $675 million for increased inspection technology, $571 million for another 2,000 law enforcement agents, $563 million to fund 75 more immigration judges and staff to handle the backlogged immigration courts, and $210 million to hire an additional 750 Border Patrol agents. While the offer would likely not suffice Trump's demands, Clyburn's proposal is a major shift from statements he recently made. And this is that. Until the president releases his hostages, federal workers and the American people, there will be no negotiation. That also, I'm sorry. Why? Because you're stamping your foot and have a temper. This is two sides stamping their feet and having a temper tantrum. It's just ludicrous. But anyway, end the shutdown now, and we can consider how a compromise giving lasting protections for Dreamers and TPS recipients may lead to a deal on border security. Well, yeah, that's, you know, for the president, that's his only bargaining chip is the shutdown. You guys, and every budget that I've seen since probably since the Clinton administration. No, not even that. They started doing the continuing resolutions. Well, yeah, I think Clinton's second term is when everything started becoming continuing resolutions, and they just kicked the can down the road on so many things instead of just doing their job, passing a bill, and either saying yes or no and living with the consequences. Everyone wants to jockey their position, and no one wants to actually, we haven't, I'm not even sure if we even had an actual federal budget for years. Rather, just, oh God, they drive me nuts. I'm enough of that crap. All right. So, whoops, I did a little mistake there. So, hey, I'm going to have to make that it for today because I need to be somewhere by 11 o'clock our time. Hey, just again, thank you all who are here today. I would really appreciate it if you would, if you're not subscribed, I think most of you are subscribed here, but if you're not, just below the screen here, there is this little button that says subscribe. If you click that button and then a little bell will pop up, click the bell so you make sure you get the notifications. Also, you can find me on Twitter, which is at Dawg Knight, which I'll pop right into the chat one more time here. And there's the what happened? Oh, there it is. Here's my Twitter. We'll put that in the chat. And follow me on Twitter. Also, if you're ever inclined, I also have added a Streamlabs. You can see the link down at the bottom here. It's in the description. Actually, all this stuff is in the description, by the way. So you got my second channels down there, my Twitter account, my Instagram, and my Streamlabs. But we're gonna have to end this. I am dumbfounded and feel very honored that you have come and watched me over the weeks and my 2 weeks. This is my second week. Tomorrow we'll finish my second week, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm going to keep doing this. And thank you for coming here. Make sure you tell people, make sure you get people to subscribe. You're the people who help me grow. And like I said, the more people we can get in the chat, the more fun you can have in there too. And I thank you very, very much. My name is Dawg Knight. Wait, let me prepare for this. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here.